afternoon, Dr. Joan Bailey.
Good afternoon. And you can just call me Joan.
I know, but do you know the doctor really does something for me when I say Dr. Joan? I don't know why.
And that's nice.
It is.
And and I don't devalue the fact that I worked really hard for my doctorate.
I was going to say.
And blood, sweat and tears.
So you need to use it. You don't like using it.
And I did a lot of it studying at night because I had children that were young. So I was getting to school and going to work and coming home. So I did a lot of it at night. And I don't devalue, but I put a lot of effort into it. But this is an informal chat. You can call me Joan, honestly.
I'll try. So we want to talk about first all these letters after your name: MBE, FRSA, and DL. Took me a while. The FRSA, I was like, what's that about? So it's really important that people know when they see you pop up on LinkedIn or Insta or whatever platform. Some people don't actually know what any of those letters mean.
Okay.
But I do because I've done my homework.
Oh, well done you.
I know. I think you should get a star. Yeah. But tell us MBE first.
Okay. So MBE, right, is a member of the British Empire. And, anybody can be nominated for one of those awards. So mine was given to me in 2000, the year 2000. And I was, what's really lovely about that is that generally, so I can nominate you, right?
Oh, that'd be nice.
For an award.
Do I get to meet the king?
Well, I can nominate you. The process you have to go through is quite a long process, and then it might be the king that gives you an award if you were to get it. It might be the prince. It might be any member of the royal family.
I want the king.
Well, quite interesting. I got mine from the king when he was a prince, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
That's how I got. But so any member of the community can nominate another member of the community who they think has done really outstanding work and they want them recognised. And there's a whole range of awards from the British Empire Medal up to the Member of the British Empire, Order of the British Empire, and it goes up Commander right up to the knighthoods, right? But these are for people who've done real kind of international work, national work, and they've made a real difference on a national level. So I suppose I'm really proud of mine, particularly because I didn't know, but I was nominated by the Youth Justice Board at the time. So I was doing a lot of work around youth crime, lots of preventative work, working with the youth offending team. I'd done a lot of different things around highlighting disproportionate sentencing and all those kind of issues that were going on at the time. And apparently it was the Youth Justice Board, the National Youth Justice Board, that nominated me for my work at a local level. So I'm really, really proud of the fact that that's where the nomination came from.
So you actually went, is it at Buckingham Palace?
It was at Buckingham Palace to collect it.
You met the Prince, who is now the King.
That's right.
And he gave you your award.
And so on the day...
What did he say to you?
Well, actually, he'd been to Luton quite a few times.
He has,
he saw services to youth justice in Luton, he said, I've been to Luton.
He has, yeah.
And interestingly enough, he talked about being at the airport. He talked about a motor vehicle project that actually the Safer Luton Partnership did run at the time.
Right.
And then he knew quite a bit about Luton, so he had a little conversation.
Oh.
And he was really lovely because he tries to make everybody feel special.
Good.
And he obviously does his homework because he had something to say to each person that came up. So he'd probably checked, maybe him or somebody in his team.
Yeah. But at least
so
he'd
that he'd
taken
have
the time
something
to understand why.
So it's a very special day when you go, and he pins that medal onto you. And
Did you cry?
I was choked up, but I actually didn't cry. There weren't tears running down my eyes, but when he put it on, and I think when my name was called, it was a bit of a lump in the throat.
Oh, well, congratulations on that, and thank you for sharing that. The next one is the FRSA.
So that is a fellow of the Royal Society of the Arts.
Right.
And there's a whole range of things that society does. So mine is mostly around kind of the community-based work I do and community engagement. And it's a whole society that has a whole range of different things.
Right.
But somebody nominates you or recommends you to join. And so you fill in the application form. There is an annual membership, so it's not free. There's an annual membership that you pay for it.
Okay.
And then you have access to research and people and venues and all kinds of things. So it's a bit like a big network of people that do similar work to you.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's quite interesting.
Yes.
And I suppose it's an accolade that, you know, it kind of professionally it puts you in a place where people think, oh, you know, they do work around this area.
Okay.
So that's kind of a professional one.
Lovely.
Right?
And lastly, the DL.
So the DL, I'm so proud
I
of
know
that.
you are. So am I.
am. I'm so proud.
Oh.
So every county across the whole of the UK, they have a Lord Lieutenant.
Yes.
Right? And the Lord Lieutenant is the King's representative in that county.
Right.
And he or she represents the King at all kinds of events. So they give out awards, they go to visit people, places, projects, community events. They do all kinds of things there. So our Lord Lieutenant is a lady, Sue Lasada. She's in Bedfordshire. Well, she, you know,
I need to meet Sue.
And you should arrange to meet Sue.
Yes,
definitely.
I will. Definitely.
She loves to be out and meet people.
Yeah, she's like, I met her at the
she's
awards ceremony in November, but I haven't connected with her yet, but I will.
No,
so Sue,
connect with her.
If you're watching, you can get in touch with
Yeah,
me.
no, Sue is
She's lovely.
Yeah, she's very lovely.
Yeah.
And she really is interested in people and
Yes.
community.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good.
So, and you know, get in contact with her office if you want her to come and open an event or
Lovely.
attend one of your events. She'll be more than happy to do that.
Good.
But of course, she's just one person
Yeah.
across the whole county.
Yeah.
So, like the King, who can't be in every county, she can't be everywhere in the county. So she has some deputies.
Right.
And so she will appoint a number of deputies. Now, I was actually appointed by the previous Lord Lieutenant, which was Helen Nellis.
Right.
So I was already a Lord Lieutenant when Sue became the Lord Lieutenant. And I remember when Helen called to say to me, I would like to ask you if you'll be one of my deputy Lord Lieutenants. And I think there was deathly silence for what seemed to me
An
like
age.
about the longest time.
Yeah.
Because I was all going around in my head and going, did she actually say that? Did she? And I was trying to just work it out. And she said, I know it wasn't that long, but it just seemed like I was just like
yeah,
like
took your breath
sitting
away
there.
completely.
And then she said, so would you be interested? And I went, yes, of course I would. Because I don't, she probably thought I was thinking, well, do I? But yeah, it was such an honour.
Good.
Such an honour. And I just remember that after that phone call, I felt like I was just like on a different planet, and it was so surreal.
Yes.
And then of course I have been, and it's a privilege.
Yes.
It's an honour, but it's such a joy.
Good.
And when I go out to represent, I represent Sue, but obviously ultimately I'm representing the King as well.
Yes.
And I go to events and I meet the most amazing people, and I learn about so many unbelievable things that people are doing. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I could tell.
I love it.
So, and I really want to say a massive thank you on behalf of the King and yourself for opening our first soup kitchen.
Well, I didn't
last
come
week.
officially like that, did I?
No,
I mean,
you
I
didn't,
know you
but-
said that, but I
yeah.
didn't come in that official capacity. You said, Joan Bailey, Dr. Joan Bailey, MBE, DL, no, come and open my soup kitchen. And I said, I'll be opening as Joan, or
Yeah.
Dr. Joan Bailey.
Yeah.
So I didn't come in an official capacity.
Yeah.
Because obviously,
It has to be-
invite has to go through the office properly.
Yes.
So, but no, and the project was amazing. I mean, you know, it absolutely was. It was amazing. The work that you're doing for the soup kitchen is incredible. And I think, you know, I said this last week when I was there, there are a lot of soup kitchens. We know that. There's a lot of people doing similar work. But what was really special to me about the one that you have is the one where all the agencies are joined up and working together. Oh, my word, my lovely word.
Partnership.
Working, right? And all pulling their resources together, all delivering together. But also, I love the whole service delivery, that you were the people could come to you, they could get the information they wanted, because I know how it is heartbreaking how people go to a service that it takes them so long to get there.
Yes.
so long they walk up to the door so many times.
Yeah.
Finally, they might go in, and then they talk to them and say, okay, right, well, you need to go there for that.
Yeah.
And then you need to go and see those people over there. And then you need to go across town there to see those people. They're never going to do that.
No.
They're not.
No.
They don't have the skills to do it. They have complex lives. They have so much going on.
Yeah.
Right, from 1 minute to the next. It's not even day by day. It's minute by minute.
Yes.
So what I loved was that they come to you and they can get information. There was the guy doing the men's walk. There was the hygiene packs that they could get. Everything was there. So they come and all the services are there.
Yeah.
I love the service delivery. I love the partnership working. I love the service delivery. Brilliant project.
Thank you. And thank you for supporting it. It really did. We sent you the opening speak. And I hadn't realised that you'd said that much. And it was so cold.
I know.
It was the coldest day of the year.
And I actually cut it down and then rambled through it. Really, it was freezing. And but I thought the funny bit was that we all stood up ready because the sun was shining, wasn't it? We all stood up and we were all ready. And then the hailstones came.
They
I'm
were
like,
huge.
what's going on? Massive hailstones. Yeah, and
but still, people came out.
Yeah, no, they were there,
and it was lovely that we were able at Greenbridge to support not only our own service users but the community, and that's what I think Greenbridge is all about is community engagement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll continue to do so, and it now will be running on a weekly basis because of the success of last week, 11:30 till 12:30. We'll share the location with you at the end of this podcast. But I am really, really grateful for the wonderful speech that you gave, and I was quite touched.
Oh,
obviously, at the time we can't remember what's going on, so when we listened to it back, it was lovely. So thank you for that.
But I realised everybody was shivering, and there were probably a few other little things I wanted to say, but I just looked at their faces and they were so cold, and I thought, I can't have them standing out here and say all these things I want to say. As much as they needed to be said. I think I summarised them really quickly, but I could see people just shivering. And I thought, no, you can't say all this. You got to shorten it down
down a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us about your work with the university in Luton, because I'm interested. About that as well. Tell us about that.
So I've been I've retired from the university, but I go in and help them do little bits and pieces. But I was there for nearly 25 years. Started off as a visiting lecturer, then worked part-time and then worked full-time. So over a number of years, and ended up at the university because I'd been doing a lot of community safety work, and often I would go in to just do odd lectures on community safety or crime and deviance, and then kind of my career pursued there. And that was because of the work I was doing in the Safer Luton Partnership in the youth project. And later on, we'll talk about that later on, I took over the Safer Luton Partnership. But my job, the one that paid the bills, was the one that I did at the university, because my job at the Safer Luton Partnership, even though I've got paid staff, I volunteer there. I run it in a voluntary capacity. So originally, like I said, I would do sessions on community safety and some of the criminology stuff. Later on, I then went to work with the team that delivered the degree in youth and community work, and I was one of the senior lecturers on there. When the person who was the course coordinator for youth and community work left, I then secured that. I applied for and secured that. So I was the course manager for the degree in youth and community work. And then we started to look at different ways of doing youth and community work. And then there was a phase where youth workers were like not in jobs, and government policies and all kinds of things. And I moved over to social work. So that's why I ended my career at the university, delivering on the degree in social work. And so the work I still do with them now, on a kind of sessional type basis, is that I do some of the units for the social work students. And obviously their practice. So that's what I do there. Yeah, so that's good.
So you've mentioned it quite a few times, the Safer Luton Partnership. Talk to us about, because that's what really interesting, this yellow bus that goes through the town.
That is just one project.
I know.
I'm going to tell you about a lot of the other projects. So I went to work for the Safer Luton Partnership in 1996. So the Safer Luton Partnership has been around since 1990. 1989, 1990. I went to work there in 1996 when they just started. They'd been doing community safety projects, wanted to set up a youth unit where they started to do a lot of work with young people, particularly young people who were at risk of offending. Okay. So a post was advertised to start off working in the youth unit, doing some peer-led work, some educational work. The first project was a project around drugs and alcohol and raising awareness. So applied for the job and got that job, and then I started there and developed the youth unit, and we had a whole range of staff, youth workers, detached workers, all kind of staff doing different bits of work with young people. And then later on, when the manager left, because we had other pieces of work there, I applied for the post and then got the post for the whole manager of the Safer Luton Partnership, which is where lots of different projects run under. And then over the years, what I've done is I've developed some of the work so that when we talk about the Safer Luton Partnership, we've got a very clear, because I think in the early days we had lots of ad hoc projects.
Right.
They didn't really all connect with each other.
Okay.
But I think we've now got to a place where I think, when I say to people, the Safer Luton Partnership, our underlying philosophy is that we support people in Luton who have been victims of crime or could possibly be victims of crime because of a range of things.
Yes.
So our underlying philosophy is to make Luton a safer place for people who live here, work here, visit here, and to make sure that they don't become victims of crime. And if they do become victims of crime, how do we then support them so that they don't withdraw from society, become isolated in their homes, that we help them to work through that, but also, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go along, about we support them maybe to go to court and give evidence so that people who are perpetrators are brought to justice as well. So
you'll support them through the
we'll
process.
support them through that process. So I always say our SLP, Safer Luton Partnership, stands S, right, is for supporting people, right? The L is for liaising with all the different organisations to make sure that we provide a really holistic service for people.
Good.
Draw in whoever we need to draw in to help us give those individuals the support or the groups the support. And the L, right, the P is about the protection, making sure they put all those preventative and protective factors in place. So we are focused on victims. And then we have a whole range of projects. So I have a manager, and I'm not looking for a big round of applause here. One of the reasons why I took the full-time job at the university was that, and this is going to really sound bad because there'll be loads of managers going to go, really? So I realised that I managed the Safer Luton Partnership. And I'd manage all these managers who are, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for that. And I'm overseeing all of them. And getting a very nice salary. But really and truly, I'm a glorified administrator. So when you're applying for funding every year, and you can't get the funding because you only get 1 year funding. If you're lucky, you might get two. Once in a while, somebody might give you a 3-year funding, but it's generally year by year. So I'm spending all my life just writing bids. And I realise that I'm going to make 2 or 3 people redundant because I can't get the money for them, but I'm paying myself, I'm getting paid this salary. So because there was a job opening at the university, I decided that I would take the full-time job at the university. And so I ran the Safer Luton Partnership in a voluntary capacity and spent the nights writing the bids. I wrote the bids at night and kept all the staff because that's what I did. And I'm not looking for brownie points.
No,
I'm not.
No.
It was what I chose to do that. And it's my decision to do that. So I earned my income at the university and then gave my time, evenings, usually in the evenings, and wrote the bids for the staff to be able to deliver. And then once every couple of weeks, we have a staff meeting and I just check how everything's going. So that's how I've kept it. So we have a board of trustees. I'm the chair of the Safer Luton Partnership, and they have staff. And one of the people I want to bring in a few weeks' time, we'll work out a date, is Rajab, who is like the manager. And he is the one that drives most of the victims' work. So I'm going to tell you that we have a little bit about his project, but I'm not going to tell you loads about his project because I want him to tell you the real detail about that. So Rajab's project emerges out of the victims and witness champions that we piloted many years ago. And some of the people listening will know the story of Fiona Pilkington. She was the lady who went to so many services, right, to get help. Most of the statutory services. She didn't get the support and the help that she needed. She just got pushed around and around and around. Nobody was held responsible for that. And in the end, she committed suicide.
I remember it well.
Right. So out of that, the Ministry of Justice decided to run a pilot where they would have these victims workers, right? And they would advocate for victims, but they would challenge the local authority and challenge the police on the way they were supporting victims.
Right.
Luton was a pilot area, and of course the police and the local authority couldn't employ the person. It had to be an independent organisation. So the Safer Luton Partnership applied for the funding to run the pilot in Luton, and we won that, and Rajab was employed to do that. And then after the pilot finished, it was for people to try and secure their own funding. And what happened then was that the council and the police together, they supplied the funding for that independent person to continue to work in the Safer Luton Partnership and to support victims. And so Rajab has remained in that post, and he works very closely with the antisocial behaviour team from the police and the local authority. And he gets the referrals. He will support those victims, but clearly if he sees things are going wrong, he will challenge the police and the local authority on that.
Right.
And he has a whole menu of work that he does with them, from the one-to-one work, home visits, taking them to court. So if they've got to go and give evidence, he might take them to court and show them what a courtroom looks like, talks to them about what happens, explains it. Then he'll talk them through the process, and then he'll be there in court and support them to do that. And I don't want to take away his glory because he is amazing. He is so amazing.
I'm looking forward to meeting him.
I have learnt so much from him about, how we support victims. So I want him to come in and talk about that. His
but
own
if we
work.
have got people that are watching that have been victims of crime or think that they may be, can they get in touch?
Yeah. So we at the moment we don't take direct referrals.
Okay.
That once
where do the referrals come from?
So they come from housing, right?
Okay.
So
we
places
can.
like you,
Yeah,
if
lovely.
you've got issues around,
Perfect.
yeah, come from the police, from the local authority. So come from a range of places.
Right.
If we do get someone who says I need help, right? There's like a multi-agency team,
right,
where that particular case will be discussed. And then they'll decide there whether it's like there's tiers of service. Tier 1, information, advice and word support and whatever. It may be that it needs a police intervention where they go and take a report from. So they will escalate it to where it needs to be in terms of that. Right.
So with regard to the Luton Safer Partnership, apart from obviously it's holistic, it's multi-agency. Are there any other projects that you're running?
Yeah. So should I talk about the yellow bus then, the one that you want to know about?
I want to talk about the yellow bus,
right?
Because I've never seen the yellow bus.
Yeah. So
I've heard about it.
The big yellow bus, which was an old Arriva bus that was donated to us, we had that. And I mean that lasted 10 years. It was at the end of its life. It lasted 10 years, then we had to let it go because it was not going to pass any more MOTs. But we've got a Vivaro, and so that's still a bus that we have.
For the old firm,
right? And that was we got that from Vauxhall in 2000. And
wow.
Yeah.
Probably my husband donated.
Yeah. So the project is now, it's in its 16th year now. So this idea of the medical centre, so we started ours in 2019. Yeah, it was about the same time. That places like Brighton, they would have this bus at night, and what would happen is that when people got, you get drunk, right, have a fight,
don't know, but
you get
sure
drunk,
it does
you have
happen.
a fight, fall over, bruise yourself, and whatever. These were like low-level incidents that clogged up the accident emergency. But could be dealt with if you had first aiders and people like that who could do things like that. And even resuscitating people until an ambulance came to have a defib and whatever. So Luton had a discussion about this, right? And also dealing with antisocial behaviour in the town centre. Otherwise, you have to take them all up. The police have to come get them, take them up to the police station. You know, they've got to see the custody sergeant, you know, and all those things. Obviously, if they've done something really bad, they need to go up there.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
But if it's just they've had a fight and then we can sort it out. And when you're drunk, one of the things that we learn, you know, is that your blood sugar drops. You get really aggressive and whatever. So we used to put them on the bus, put a lollipop in their mouth, right? They get a bit of a sugar high, and then they settle themselves down. And then then we had some more serious incidents. So if you're drunk, you can't get into the nightclub. Now I'm going to tell you, you know, boys are boys, but girls. So you get a group of young women, maybe 3 or 4 girls, and one of you's drunk, right? And the difference between the boys and the girls is, if the doorman says to one of the guys, you can't come in, right? The boys go, okay, no problem. They all leave.
Together.
They all leave together.
Yeah.
Right? Girls.
Oh, no,
Girls,
we're still going in.
Right. The 3 of them will go in and leave the one that's drunk outside.
I've seen it.
And she sat on the pavement
I'm
outside.
usually the one sitting with her going, are you okay?
Yeah.
What's your number?
Now, so there's this real difference about how boys support each other and if one of them's drunk, and how girls support each other if one of them's drunk, you know, had too much to drink.
Yeah.
Right? So they leave their friend, right?
She's just there.
She's just there. So, sat on the pavement, can't go to the nightclub, obviously, but what the doorman will do is they'll call us on the bus and we'll come for them and we'll bring them to the bus and then we'll look after them, sit with them, and make sure they're safe.
Yes.
Because one of the things that we know, and we've had these incidents in the past, where girls just wandered off, and Luton Borough Council CCTV are amazing. They will pick up a lone woman walking. They will stay the camera on her, keep an eye on her, and we have had incidents where they've seen guys following somebody.
Wow.
But, yeah. So we make sure we keep those girls safe.
Right.
And we'll get calls and they'll be brought to us, or we'll go and pick them up and bring them down to us and they sit with us. We have a cup of coffee and we chat and whatever. We find out, you know, where you live and where you need to be. We're not a taxi service.
No.
If we feel that the girl really needs to get home and there's no other way to get her home, we might help her out. But generally, we'll give us the number of your mum or your dad or somebody, a friend who can come and pick you up or whatever. Yeah. But we'll keep them until they're safe and they get home.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we do that, but we do all the medical, all the first aid stuff. We do all those things. So we're still there. So we go out on all the nights when there's events, and so you'll see us out. So when there's events,
big concert,
when there's big like carnival. At the end of the night. So we've just done 3 nights of Eid in Wardown Park, and we were there all the time.
Right.
Absolutely amazing event, Eid. One Eid put on the most incredible event. They had loads of volunteers looking after the whole festival. We were there for 3 days. I think we did 35 hours on shift of first aid, and these are all volunteers.
Yeah.
So this project is run completely by volunteers. And they did such a great job. They had not one single medical incident in 3 days.
Yeah.
They were so good.
Yeah.
So this project, we are always
looking
for volunteers. Now, the reason I say that it's important for our volunteers is that, and I think I was saying to, what's your name? Abdul. I said to Abdul, right before we came in, that volunteering is lovely. It's amazing and it's wonderful. And you know, we love it and all the rest of it. But we have to pay our bills as well.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the reality of life.
Yeah, it is.
So most of my volunteers, they have full-time jobs or they work, and then they give their time in the evenings or maybe at the weekends and whatever. So, but they still need to have family time. And when you've only got a few volunteers, they might have to be out 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Right? They might be out every week, once every week.
So you're looking for...
But if you have a lot of volunteers, you might have to come out once a month.
Exactly. It goes on a rota.
Yeah, it goes on a rota, and you just come out once a month. So we're always looking for volunteers.
Okay.
If you're first aid trained, that's fantastic. If you're not, don't worry about it.
And who do they get in touch with?
So they get in touch with me, but we've got, if you go to Safer Luton Partnership website, or you can send me an email or type in Safer Luton or
Yeah.
contact Joan Bailey. Maybe you'll put it up on your thing.
I certainly
with
shall.
and I know you already talked to me about how I might get some volunteers.
Yeah.
But we will provide you with the first aid training.
Perfect.
We also get a uniform, right? And
Is it yellow?
it's blue. Now I'll tell you something about this funny thing.
What's the
we
hell?
used to have
Yeah.
a yellow t-shirt.
That's right.
With a blue fleece. And this was great because it was the blue and yellow. That was our colours, blue and yellow for the first aid, right? Our Safer Luton Partnership colour is green, but that was it was lovely. And they were out, and they looked so lovely in their yellow and blue, and everything was great. Okay, then summer came. First year, summer came. It was so hot. The staff said to me, "Look at all these insects!
Oh, the insects!
Look at me! They were covered in little black insects. They were like, I'm not wearing this. Or I'm not. Look at it. So, I got Joan Bailey. You need to get us some different colour t-shirts. So I said, well, you can't just have any random colour. You're going to have blue. So now they have blue t-shirts with the yellow logo and the blue fleece. And then we've got winter coats as well. So that in the winter, if they have to go out and walk, obviously there's winter coats. But so they'll get a uniform and then they just wear black trousers or black skirts, whatever. So it's black and then they wear. And then, like I said to you, that we have some that have got advanced first aid training. We've got some that got paediatric first aid training. Then I have a couple of people who've done what we call FREC. It's the first response training there. We've got a FREC 3 qualified person and a FREC 4 qualified person. That's really high level first aid. And we've been doing lots of events. And one of the things that we flagged up at some of the events was we have some events that are in the park and whatever. And so people bring their dogs. So we've got some staff who've done animal first aid as well. So if any of the animals get into bother or there's any problems, they can deal with that.
Interesting. Yeah.
So we're really looking for some volunteers, and I'm going to pursue that with you anyway.
I know you will.
Because, as I say, I am very conscious that, you can't just volunteer the whole time. We all have to pay our bills.
That's right.
So the more volunteers we have, maybe you only have to come out once a month.
Perfect.
So,
but we'll make sure that we'll share that on our socials.
Yeah.
When we finish today
as well.
When do you sleep, Joan?
Somewhere
Because
between
I'm
2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning. Actually,
I thought I was busy.
I'll tell you a
This
funny
is
story.
ridiculous.
Tell you a funny story. So my brother, he goes to sleep really late, like 2 o'clock in the morning or something, and he wakes up about 6. Sometimes, because I might want to send him something or sound off, and so sometimes I'll be sitting, and I do work at like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. I'll send an email to him and say, "Oh, when you get up in the morning, just have a look at this and whatever." And he answers it and goes, "What are you doing up at 3:30 in the morning?" So I could ask you the same question, right? But I do sleep, but I do my best work. My best work is between about midnight and 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
And now that I'm
so
in this role,
productive.
I understand that idea. You'll be asleep, and then an idea will pop up, and you think, "Oh, by the time I get up in the morning, I'll forget it, so I have to wake up and write it down."
Yeah.
My husband goes, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I have to write this idea down, otherwise you do forget." I just want to thank you for taking the time to tell us all about the amazing work that you're doing, the projects that you're running, sharing your stories, and working partnerships.
Working in partnership.
With us. I can just see that 2026, 27, 28, 29, 30 is going to be really productive for all of us. So thank you so much for coming in and sharing.
No, and so I'd like to say to people listening, just type in Safer Luton, right? You'll go straight to our website. Our website has all our projects, all the work we do. It has contact details. Those are the contact details if you want to volunteer, want to find out more. And the last thing I'm going to say is, in the same way that you can get an MBE for an individual, there is a process. It was called the Queen's Award, but it's now called the King's Award. It's a King's Award for voluntary service. It's an MBE for an organisation, right? Not an individual.
Is everyone listening?
Right? It's an MBE for an organisation. And in 2022, the Safer Luton Partnership got it was the Queen then, because the Queen was still alive. We got the Queen's Award for voluntary service.
Wow.
For all the work that our many volunteers do. And if you've got an organisation where it's been run by volunteers, right, there's loads of volunteers, you too can apply for the King's Award for voluntary service. And that's an MBE for your MBE for your
the
organisation,
organisation.
not for an individual.
Lovely.
So that's our kind of big thing for the Safer Luton Partnership.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Joan.
You are most
It's been
welcome.
amazing.
I've loved being here.
I know. You could be here all day.
I could.